Hello, and welcome to video number 3 in the Java for Beginners series. In this video, we will explain line by line the Hello World program that we written and executed in the last 2 videos. In every language, human and programming languages alike, you have to follow a certain syntax to express what you're trying to convey properly. In the case of human languages, there are certain things, certain rules actually, that everyone who speaks the language agrees upon and makes what you say when it's properly formed understandable. Same goes for programming languages. You have to follow certain rules which are set by programming language designers that make the interpreter of your program that you write or the compiler understand your program. So you have to use certain words or keywords that you place in certain order so that in the case of the Java language, the compiler of the Java language can parse and understand your program and the intention of the program or what you're trying to achieve with it. So let's see some of these rules and keywords that the Java language would expect you to have in your program. All right, we're back at the snippet here, and I've highlighted these keywords: public, class, public, static, void. These are called keywords in the Java language, and these are not the only keywords. There's a bunch of them. But these are the keywords that were needed to create our Hello World application or program. And right here, these keywords are pretty straightforward. We're trying to create a class. Now, first of all, what is a class? A class, simply put, actually running the risk of oversimplifying, it's a container that contains a bunch of data members, a bunch of data, such as someone's name, and a bunch of functionality, such as being able to print that someone's name. So that's a functionality, function, method, such as this one, public static void main. It's a main method of this Hello World class. And that's why it's the method that makes this class executable, runnable, as we saw earlier. So you're talking to the compiler here in line 1, and you're saying, I'm defining a class that is public. Public is one of the access modifiers. Access modifiers set the rules around who can access what. You've access that is public, private, protected, and default. These are the access modifiers in Java. You don't have to worry about them now. Just use public for everything, because you see, we're saying basically that this class has public access. So anyone can access this class. So the Java runtime can access this class to execute it. And the function is public as well, the main function of the class. So what that's saying is the Java runtime can access this main function and invoke it for you to be able to execute this print statement that's within it. Now, as you may notice, when you're defining an entity and it has a block, like a class, it has a block, and the block is defined by those curly braces. So anything in between, which is essentially, including this, which is essentially this part, right? This is within the body of the class. So that's the class name, and that's the class body. And you know that it begins with a curly brace right here and finishes with a curly brace right here. So everything between those two curly braces is the body of the class. Now, we mentioned earlier, class is a container, and in this case, it's containing a function. And this function has also a public access modifier. It is static. If you're a beginner, never mind that for now. And it's a void. It means that, you know, every function has to return something or return nothing. So I'll ask you to go and execute, to do a mission for me. And then you come back with the result, or maybe you come back with nothing. The same thing is expected from functions. If a function is running, at the end, it might return something back to whoever invoked it, to whoever ran it, or it might not. In this case, it returns void, which is nothing. And now you got the function name, which is main. So what we're seeing here is right after the keywords, we're seeing the name of the function. So the keywords public static void, and then the name main. And the same goes for the class. After public class, which are keywords, we're seeing the name of the class, hello world. So that's the main function of the hello world class. Now, right here, between those parentheses, it is accepting parameters. It is accepting input. So this main function expects inputs that are whatever this means, the string array of arguments, whatever that means. It doesn't matter now. So it accepts string args. So that's the type of the input, and that's the name of the input. Okay. And it returns void. Nothing. Doesn't return anything. Just this guy right here. And what does this function do? Well, let's look at the body of the function. This is the body of the function. It's between the beginning here, one N, double N, I don't know, second language, and the end. Okay. And that's the only thing that it does, is it does one thing. So it's line 3. It invokes a functionality. It's a printing functionality and allows you to pass to it whatever you want to print. And in this case, it is hello world, which is a string parameter. How do you know it's a string? Because of these double quotations around it. Right off the bat, you see in the tab bar, you are looking at the name of the file, HelloWorld.java. We said that the .java part is essential for telling the operating system, telling any program really, what sort of content is to be expected inside this file. So a .java extension would indicate that the file is containing Java source code. So expect Java source code inside, which is what we have right here. The hello world part is the name of the file, and it should match the name of the class inside that file. Now, as you can see here, let me erase here. We have the icon that IntelliJ picked for this file, and it's a C letter with a play button. C stands for class, and play button is indicating that this is an executable class on its own. So it's indicating that this class has a main method. While some classes are executable, others are not. Let me show you the difference. If you get rid of this bit of code that we'll later on call the main method or function, method function pretty much mean the same thing. You'll notice that the class will no longer be marked executable. The play buttons will disappear. This bit of code is what makes this class executable, i.e. able to run and produce results such as, printing hello world or whatever you want your program to do. If we change the name of the function from main to, let's say, main1, they go away. If we change the type of the argument. Now, if you don't know what these changes are, don't worry. I'm just trying to show you that Java is very specific about how a class can become executable. If you remove the static, for instance, it's not executable. If you remove the public, it's not executable. And actually, IntelliJ has a very neat shortcut. You could just go public static void main, and it'll generate it for you. So you go from a class that's not executable to a class that is executable. And that's the Hello World program, explained as simply as I could. This stuff can be very overwhelming for a complete beginner. So I tried not to overcomplicate things and to break things down as much as I can. If you found this video useful, which I hope you did, please support me by liking and sharing and maybe subscribing to the channel. My name is Hazem, and I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.